properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk on January 11, 2024. Committeeman Clark.
Here.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Here.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Okay. Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda, we have a presentation recognizing July 10th, 2024 as Camp Happiness Day in the Township of Middletown. At this time, I'd like to invite New Jersey Blind Citizens Association Executive Director Sarah Toma, Board of Trustees President Pilar Kirby, and Board of Trustees member George Bramlos Kirby to please join Mayor Perry.
How are you? No, George? Yeah. No, I know. And I was about to say, I was inspired today, earlier today. So, first of all, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our meeting. And I think this was originally scheduled for, what was it? Or we were gonna do this last meeting, but we had to push it to this meeting. But for those of you who don't know, Middletown, and particularly Leonardo, is home to the New Jersey Blind Citizens Association, which is a great organization that really provides an unbelievable resource for the visually impaired in not just Middletown, statewide. And I got to spend some time there last year when Bayshore Medical Center was donating an AED to the Blind Citizens Association. And when you walk in, you really start to feel and understand what it is that we all take for granted too often. And that is just really walking up here, right? And the ease that we all have walking through just a door and experiencing something for the first time is not what everybody else gets to experience. And far too often, those that are visually impaired begin and realize that their lives, whether it happened at birth or whether it happens over time, the fact of the matter is now you're reinventing your life. You're reinventing the way you go through life. You know, to have this resource for so many people, I mean, especially, you know, pre-COVID, people from all across the state were coming. And during COVID and after COVID, the Blind Citizens Association was reinventing itself under your leadership. And to know that it's home here in Leonardo, right there on Burlington Avenue. To have that there as a resource, as a tool, as a mechanism to make people's lives just a little bit easier is wonderful to have, not just for the residents of Middletown, but for the people of our state. So I'm honored that you were able to join us. I don't know if you want to give a little pitch here.
No, I'm so thankful for your support, for all of your support, because when you think about these four blind men that started this organization 114 years ago, yeah, 114 this year, but Camp Happiness, which started out on Burlington Avenue, 95. So we're so thankful to honor these gentlemen. I mean, I think of them all the time thinking like, I wonder what if they could look back and say, like, look at what's going on, you know, and our members are just like incredible people. They're just like you and me, they just can't see.
Right.
So we all have weaknesses, but we just look at the fact, like, how do we build on that and give them different experiences, and they're great for it. We just love it.
And when you go in and you see the resources that are there and available, when I was there last, there were a few individuals there that were there as they always are, and working with each other, and the friendships and the help that they provide one another is wonderful to see. So we are very happy and honored to have declared July 10th as Camp Happiness Day in Middletown in celebration of your 114 years of serving our great community. So thank you so much. Well, and I wanted to say, so for those of you who don't know, my good friend George here, George was a baseball player, born and raised here, and lived his life here in Middletown, and has been an advocate and has just been a Middletown advocate his entire life. And George, to have you here and to know that you're here to advocate for Camp Happiness, for the New Jersey Blind Citizens Association, means the world to me. So I was just joking with George on his way up here. I was at Swagger earlier today, and I know he is the mayor of Swagger Barbershop over there when he's getting his hair done. So George, to have you here means a lot, my friend.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thanks, George. All right, Raven, take a quick.
Thank you. Sure, yeah.
All right, everyone's ready?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right, let's give it up for the. Yeah, absolutely. Come on. My turn.
Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have a proclamation recognizing August 6, 2024 as National Night Out in the Township of Middletown. Our next item on tonight's agenda, we have approval of minutes for June 24th, 2024 regular meeting.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. Mayor?
All right, the next item on our agenda is the public hearing for proposed ordinances 2024-3422. I'm gonna, and Heidi, do I need a motion to carry that to the next meeting, or we can just carry it to our August 19th meeting?
Yeah, we're
Okay.
just, yeah. we
All
can
right,
carry it.
so that public ordinance number 2024-3422 will be carried to the August 19th meeting. Mr.
And-
Nelson?
Yeah, I just want to explain the reason for carrying this ordinance. The reason for carrying this ordinance is that this ordinance in the first place was to address an issue raised by the developer plaintiff in a prerogative writ matter, which challenged an governmental action of the governing body. This ordinance was designed to correct the issue that they complained about. However, they also, in addition to that prerogative writ action, filed an order to show cause, which was entered last week, which prevents us from taking any further action until a hearing before Judge Grassa Jones that will be held in the first week of August. So until that time, we can't proceed on this ordinance that was intended to fix an issue that they were complaining about that they were preventing from being corrected now. Can't make this up, people.
So just to be clear to the public as to why they're not speaking on this ordinance, council challenged a portion of public ordinance 2024-3422. This ordinance is correcting that mistake that council raised, and then their own motion their own motion prevents us from being able to consider this tonight?
Yes.
Okay, just for clarification. All right, so Heidi, if you could please carry this meeting to August 19th and properly notice for that meeting. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. All right, introduction of proposed ordinances.
At this time, we have ordinance 2024-3423, an ordinance amending chapter 465-95 of the Code of the Township of Middletown, prohibiting parking at all times along the south side of Prospect Avenue from Central Avenue.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
yes,
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve. With a public hearing to be held August 19th, 2024.
All right. I believe this presentation for the Ocean Monmouth Multi-Jurisdictional Program for Public Information as it relates to the flood insurance promotion and rates in Middletown is being carried to August as well. Okay, August 19th. Okay,
Okay, at this time, we have a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 24-199 through, I can get the papers, rated,
Resolution 24-215,
217.
including a firefighter application.
217.
It's actually
I'm sorry,
24-217 with a firefighter application. Do we have a motion?
Just to be clear, this is 24199 through 24218. Because it says 217 on there twice.
No, I see it on there, correct.
216, 217, okay.
Okay,
Alright, so
so
correct.
24-199 to 24-217.
Got it.
Okay. Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
yes,
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda. At this time, we have Township Committee comment.
All right, Committeeman Clark.
No comments this time.
Okay, Committeeman Sedambrino.
No comments this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Committeewoman Kratz.
none for me, Mayor, thank you.
Okay, Deputy Mayor.
Guess I have to hold mine, right?
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Looking forward to see Red Bank Vet tomorrow at 10 a.m. for the grand opening. It's going to be pretty,
North
Amazing
America's
place.
largest animal hospital.
yes. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Just wanted to put it out there, the one of the events coming up for the America 250 celebration is our Campfire Stories. That's being a great partnership with Claire Garland. If you don't know Claire, she's an unbelievable lady, advocate for the Lenny Lenape history, historical association. She does a great job, and that is August 18th and over at the MAC. So just wanted to put that on everybody's radar ahead of the meeting. All right, with that, I'll open it up for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment may do so. We ask that you state your name and address for the record and that you keep your comments to 5 minutes. I'll let you know when you have 1 minute remaining. Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Come on down. Joe, hold on. I'm sorry, ma'am. Joe's going to bring over the mic for you. He's going to bring it right here. Right there.
Good evening, Susan DiNacenzo, 398 Maple Drive, Belford, New Jersey. Regarding resolution 24 I have glasses, excuse me. Number 21. Resolution designated Port Monmouth Residential Developer LLC as the designated.
212.
212. Was that number included in that list of numbers you just went through with that?
24199. 20.
That's me. Sorry.
You really dropped the mic there, didn't you?
Apologies.
Now, if you do it a second time, Joe's not going to pick it up, I don't
I
think.
told you I wasn't a microphone senator. I fairly warned you. Okay.
Tw-
So
Yes,
we're
24.
concerned in Belford.
Yep.
Residents received a letter dated June 25th from an evaluation company
Mhm.
saying that they had 15 days to respond for a public hearing. Is this the public hearing for that resolution?
No.
Okay, can you
It should be in the
explain to,
Anyone who got a notice can
request that the DEP hold a public hearing.
Okay.
It probably will be held here. Somebody has to make the request of that.
So what part does this play in?
This is just formalizes what has already been, action that has already been taken by this governing body previously.
And that's including the studies of the land and the ecosystem and everything over there already?
This has nothing to do with that.
It has
They're,
nothing?
they're separate public
Oh,
hearings.
okay.
This has nothing to do with the portion that you received.
Okay. May we inquire as to who the developer is?
Back in 2019, we designated a redeveloper. It's the same organization.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, it's several. Woodmont, Canoe Brook, it's all the people that were previously,
And they agreed to that development prior to having the land studies done? Or did they reference the 2012 record study? That specifically states there should not be any commercialization, urbanization, industrialization, or any of those entities located on the wetland, near them. Was that included?
the designation of a redeveloper is just it's a resolution that authorizes that the town has identified a single entity that has the right to propose something on a specific site. They still have to go through all the same processes that everybody else would have to go through. It's just that entity is the only one that
Okay.
can go through that process.
But you are aware of the study done in 2012 post-Hurricane Sandy, aren't you?
I've seen the record
Okay.
studies.
All right, we just appreciate your time. We're just very, very concerned of this stunning, amazing area that we're also gifted to have. And we want it handled with kid gloves.
So as do we.
We would appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Rich?
Richard Isaacson, 812 Tilton Place, Middletown. President of Belfast Seafood Co-op. All these studies and everything going on about the redevelopment and everything, it's getting awful confusing to some people. I mean, you're talking about 470 units, 407 units down there. I can't put my head around this. We took taxpayers' money to buy this land. Now we're going to turn it over to developer to make a pile of money, run up the road, stock his pockets with our money that we paid for. And what are we going to get out of it? Anybody got anything to say about that? What are we going to get out of it? I'll tell you what we're going to get out of it. Nothing. The only thing we're going to get is more taxes. We've already paid the tax to get that property. That property's supposed to be for the ferry boat.
Well, the town doesn't, the town doesn't own that property. You're talking about the county.
Yeah, I'm talking about the county,
Okay.
but you got to be in with the county.
Because what?
You guys got to be in with the county on that property. The county can't do nothing unless you come in on it.
The county, they could tomorrow.
They still need you. The county still needs you people.
It's their property. I mean, it's their property.
My
I don't own
property,
it.
but you can come take it when you want.
It's your property, but we can come in and take it if we want.
That's right, yeah. I didn't even touch that, Mike.
Okay, now don't blame her for that. No, he knocked the microphone down.
You put this thing.
Well, he didn't touch it.
That's fixed now. Let it fall down again. I like to know where you people stand on that redevelopment down there. Do you want all them condos down there?
This is in our housing plan, Rich. It's been in our housing plan.
We never had no public meetings for the people of Belford.
Yeah,
that's
we
gonna
sure we
suffer.
did.
Huh?
Sure we did.
Where?
Right here.
We had a public meeting here for the people of
This
Belford.
is, you know that this has been discussed for how many years now?
We probably discussed that back
The
since 19.
redevelopment investigation study was in
89.
2015,
2015.
almost a decade ago this started.
Yeah, I know. and you've been trying to take it and get it down there
No,
for how
it's-
many years?
No,
That property was bought with taxpayers' money for the ferry boat.
Richie, being it that I have been through several eminent domain processes now because of people doing what I think are outrageous plans. No one is sitting here talking about any type of eminent domain. This is the county-owned property that is working alongside of a redeveloper. That is what is occurring here. No one is taking any property.
I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's not county property. That's taxpayers' property. I get a kick out of the county to go up, put a sign up done by the county. Ain't done by the county, done by taxpayers. Our money. I work hard for my money, so does the rest of these people work hard for our money. And we don't want to turn it over to some developer to make a pile of money on our money. They're gonna make a pile of money, pay us all back. Things are wrong in this government. Real wrong. When the county buys a piece of property for something like that, oh, we gotta have that property for the park and for the ferries and everything. Well, they put the ferries in. So all them cars going up down the street, you can't get out of the road now. They do this, they'll go right down the coast with them
Because that
condos.
parking lot's not, when that first went in,
Yeah,
the Academy buses and NJ Transit was much more affordable for people, and the ferry was not as affordable. Now they're on equal footing, and NJ Transit is unreliable as anything.
yeah.
Okay, so now more people are taking that ferry terminal.
There you go.
So it's a disaster area. So this redevelopment plan puts a parking garage there
Yeah, and it puts 407 units.
on an already paved piece of property.
From who? Who paid for the property?
It paved,
Who?
paved. It's a paved piece of property.
Yeah, it's paved, yeah.
Correct. But the taxpayers also, the taxpayers also deserve to have a reliable service that's there.
They got it.
They don't.
Ferry
They
boat
don't.
comes
They-
in there, the parking lot's there. The parking lot ain't
No,
full.
it's not. It's not. People are parking all down the street.
No, they ain't.
Yeah, they are. You're entitled to your opinion.
I'm
You're
there
not
every
entitled
day.
to your own facts.
I'm down there every day.
Yeah,
I see what's going on. We don't have
and
nowhere
you're
to stand
gonna
cars.
sit there and tell me that people aren't parking all the way down the road?
Not
They
now.
absolutely are.
They used to.
100% they are. There's
They used
not
to.
enough parking spaces there.
There's not, huh?
There's not enough parking spaces there.
I'm glad you're saying that on the record, Mayor. Because I'll take pictures of that every week
Okay.
and I'll come back and show it to you. I don't know how they can take our property like that and do it. Taxpayers paid for it and the Port Authority paid for it, so some people over there paid for it.
Folks, if you wouldn't, this gentleman got the floor.
I thought we were supposed to slow down on the development in this town. You're destroying the town with all these developments. We should have started with single-family houses, not condos.
I don't, Richie, you're not going to find somebody that sits here and complains more about the unfunded mandates and housing quotas that the state passes down every single day. You're going to find anybody else that talks more about that than me? Because I'd love to hear who that person is. This town's facing 3 builders remedy suits.
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
Because we don't want the high density housing. Now, this is in our plan. Okay, and unfortunately, there's going to be people that like it and there's going to be people that don't. But no one's going to sit here and say, yeah, I agree that 1,000 units should go here and 1,000 units should go here and 1,000 units go here. You want to talk about that? Go to Blossom Cove Road, because that's the person that signed that bill, not me. I didn't sign a high density housing bill. I didn't try and handcuff suburban towns and making them have to put this high density housing in.
So why?
They hide behind the phrase affordable.
So why?
Hold on. They hide behind the phrase affordable. That bill has nothing to do with affordability. It has everything to do with high density. That is what that bill does. That is what that bill is going to do. And that is why this governing body has fought that bill every step of the way. That's why I called every single senator's office telling them why that bill was bad. Did the co-op go down there? Did you call up Frank Pallone and say, you need to have him call the governor's office and stop that from happening?
No.
Okay. So I want to know why it's okay for it to be, this is bad, but nobody is telling the governor's office or the Senate that these high-density housing bills are bad. You know why? Because they passed the bills at 1 o'clock in the afternoon with no public input on it because they don't care. But yet here we are at 7 o'clock at night so that the public can come to our meetings, can hold public hearings. And like Mr. Nelson said, this has been going on since 2015. The state budget is passed in 3 days with nobody's ability to see a 700-page, $55 billion budget. I have to wait legally a month to be able to pass my budget after we release it to the public. So we want to talk about who's being fair and who's being transparent. I will take that challenge on anytime when it comes to the state and what they are doing. The state purposely does that so that people have to come here and complain about that rather than going to Trenton because they know they're never going to do it.
What's that got to do with that down there? What's got, you tell me that
Everything.
407
It has
units
to do
down
with
there is going to be for
yes,
low
yes.
income?
It's exactly what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you so that I can hear myself talk.
All 407.
Or no, but a
Yeah,
percentage of them are.
yeah.
But Rich, show me a redeveloper that's going to build 100% affordable units. None.
But they shouldn't
None.
build down there.
You're a business guy.
They shouldn't build down there.
So
They shouldn't build along the coast.
so then
Shouldn't
tell
build.
me where. Tilton
Huh?
Place, Farm Road.
Navesink River Road.
Okay.
Excellent.
Oh,
Why?
I love that you said Navesink River Road.
That's right.
I
See that
love
over there?
that you said it.
There you go.
You know what? I think we should certainly take a look as to whether or not high density, because you know what? If certain people can live on the river, then everybody deserves a view of the river, right? Okay.
Damn right. Yep.
Except you have no sewer there. So you can't, and when
We
fair,
don't have
and
no
when
sewer over there. We can't put that in there?
we have an easement over there for sewer that's existed forever. But guess who wasn't interested in
I can only imagine.
putting high density housing on Navesink River Road?
I can only imagine.
I'll give you 3 guesses, but the first 2 don't count.
No.
Okay, you said it, not me. So, Rich, I hear you, but I'm going to tell you something. You know this, and I think most of the people in this room know this. I have fought against these unfunded, state mandated programs that couldn't point to Middletown on a map if you asked them to. So what does that have to do with the Belford Co-op in that area down there? Everything.
I'm worried about the co-op, but I'm worried about Belford in general.
I understand.
I lived in Belford my whole life. I moved up in Middletown because I couldn't take all them cars coming down the road. But I still have property, a lot of property down there.
I hear you.
I pay a lot of taxes. Everybody else pays a lot of taxes too. And our taxes bought that property. I can't see turning it over to a developer. Leave it a parking lot, expand the park. You got room to expand the parking lot. We don't need all them condos down there. 407. What are we going nuts? We'll never get out of Belford. And our quality of life is going down the tube. It's been going down the tube since we started. What we start with? Storage authority. Yeah, we got that in there. Then we come next. Leaf compost, got that in there. We'll come next. Then the ferry come. And that's been destroying that whole town. I think Belford's got enough. County, well, they gotta have a meeting. I like to be to that one. They don't listen to you anyway. I tried to talk to the director out here. He wouldn't even listen to you. I know when people's listening to you. He ain't like Harry Larson. They can say whatever you want about Harry Larson. Harry Larson was a stand-up man. I don't want to take no more of your time.
Thank you, Richie. Any other member of the public? Yes, sir. He beat you to it, but ma'am, okay. Well, then you should have taken that opportunity and said, I'm 150 what?
Hello,
How are
with
you?
all due respect.
Your
Last
name,
month,
your name and
My
address?
name is James Genovese, 123 Elmwood Avenue. Mailing is Atlantic Highlands, section is Leonardo.
Hmm?
Last month, we had, I guess it was a microburst that hit this area. We had severe branch damage coming down. In one case, an entire tree went down. Thank God, not our property. but large branches fell, large debris fell. It is unreasonable to expect everybody in that section to have the wherewithal to easily cart away that debris. In the past, and I understand that the past, you have been funded by the state when it's been declared a statewide emergency.
Federal
You've sent
government, yeah.
trucks to pick it up. I get that. The problem is there's a little lapse in logic. What is not a problem to the entire state can still be a problem to certain sections of the state. And I'm including the township of Middletown, not just Leonardo, so understand that. What are we to do?
When,
Uh,
no, well, just for, as a correction.
Yeah.
That even when there is a town that's impacted, it can be declared a disaster area. You do not need an entire state to have a disaster in order to qualify for FEMA reimbursements.
Well, then, you know what? I'll pick up on what you just said, and I came in on the tail end of it. But apparently people in the state don't know we're on the map, I guess. But it hasn't been devastating. Thank God it hasn't been. The problem, though, is debris that is too large for the average person to cart it away. And what I don't understand, I understand that the budget is tight. I get that. We called up about that. You can't do it without state funding. But then we come to find out 24,000 has been lent to Governor Murphy to host a private political fundraiser. Well, can I finish my point, sir? May I finish my point?
Go ahead.
Thank you. On his estate, 2 years ago, according to NJ 12, we did the same thing. They stiffed us. So we had to front 24,000 2 years later with a good chance they're going to stiff us again. And as NJ 12 put it, it's going to be on the taxpayers' backs to pay that. If you could find money for that, you can't find what's probably not that much money to pick up debris only where it is too large for someone to reasonably cart it off. That is all we're asking for, because now we find out you're ready to fine us if we can't get it out in a certain amount of time.
Okay, so a couple things. We didn't lend Governor Murphy any money. Let me just be clear.
I'm
about
sorry,
that.
that was wrongly stated. We fronted the money to pay for the police to close
Well,
the roads.
we pay the police overtime.
Correct, right.
And at the last time, the president came, just the last, last month, I guess it was, earlier this month, I forget. Yes, the Secret Service, along with the state police and local police, were there to shut down roadways, which is a requirement for us to do so. The township had to spend $23,185.75 to pay the police overtime for that. Do I agree with that? No, I don't agree with that at all. I think when a dignitary of that stature comes for a campaign event, I think that generated, according to all reports, $3.7 million. I don't think it's unreasonable for the taxpayers of Middletown to be reimbursed the $23,000 that if the president is here for a governmental action, the township should have to pick up that bill. I think everyone can agree with that is okay. But when you are here for 2 hours and we have to shut down roads for 10 hours, it's kind of unreasonable. Given yesterday's news, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I'm probably not gonna get that $23,185.75 back.
By the way, that was a very bad pun. Limb,
What's that?
that's a bad pun.
Oh. Yeah, very unintended. But again, I understand what you're saying. We have a police overtime budget. That's what we utilize for that. And we will have to make up that money somehow.
Yeah.
So whether that's cutting back on something at some point in time, we will have to do that to make up that revenue. And there is nothing that assures me that that won't happen for any other future campaign events that may include, the current vice president. I don't know if that's the truth or not, if that will happen, but it's always a possibility. And unfortunately, now we get about 10 days notice as to that the president is coming, and that the Secret Service and the state police are now coordinating with that. It's an unfortunate requirement I'm never going to do anything that jeopardizes the safety and security of the president of the United States, regardless of whom it is. But I also think it's absolutely fair to ask for that reimbursement when it's a campaign event.
So let me ask you a question. I believe in compromise. I believe in working things out. Is there any way we can strike some kind of a compromise? Because if it's a question of you have to hire someone to cart it off, we're in a very weird economy right now where the cost of living has skyrocketed, incomes have stayed relatively stagnant in comparison. Is there any way we can work it out? Maybe some kind of a compromise where if we take it on to remove the small debris, where there's only large debris left, that's really might be unfeasible for someone to hire someone to cart it off, or they don't have the wherewithal to have it chopped up or whatever. We can come to some kind of a compromise where we can get it out of the street. We don't want it in the street any more than you do. We take pride in our properties, but it's just an unfortunate situation, and we're kind of between a rock and a hard place.
I drove through the neighborhood today, and it did not seem like there was a large amount of debris out there. That I noticed.
I could show you pictures, but I didn't think it would be feasible to bring it here tonight, but I have pictures.
Okay, yeah, so only one person can speak at a time, okay? So when I was out there, I did not notice a large amount of debris out there anywhere.
And where we live.
If a tree fell in my yard tomorrow, I'm not entitled to the town coming in and taking it away.
No, and if a
I'm gonna
tree
be
fell in your yard,
responsible for that.
insurance would take it away. We're not talking about trees. Where we live, there are homes with large amounts of debris in the yard. Some of them are large branches that if people don't have the ability to cut them up or have them carted away, that's where it's a problem. I'm just proposing to you, one thing we might be able to work out if you are not opposed to it. There's not a huge amount of it, but there are a number of homes that had major debris come down. If we agree to take away the small debris on our own, but there's large debris that can't easily be taken away. Is there anything we can work out with you along those lines?
It sounds reasonable, but at the same time, what's large and what's small?
Something that's not going to fit in the back of the
Depends on the-
average.
But
Well,
depends on the
I'm
person that
telling
you're
you.
asking.
I'm telling you, something that's not going to fit in the back of an average SUV. Something that might be too heavy, say for an elderly couple or an elderly person to be able to get into an SUV.
Now you're talking about weighting every single house differently. And that's why the policy that we have has always been that unless it is a declared disaster, that is how we judge whether or not we send those crews out, because we're going to get that reimbursement back. We have a mechanism to pay for it. It's not as we can't just go out tomorrow and say we're going to spend, several $100,000 collecting this debris, because that's how much it will cost.
And I'm thinking if we do what I'm proposing, it's not going to be that much. It would only be large debris to worry about, not the small stuff we can cart away on our own. We would be willing to do that. But it's the large debris that is the issue. That has always been the issue. This is not just leaves falling down. We can take care of that. We're talking about large branches that fell down. No property damage was incurred. Insurance is not going to pick it up. That's all I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about you having to make inspections of every home. If people have large debris, they call in and say, look, we've got a large branch. You can figure out the criteria for the cutoff on that and just deal with that. That's all we're asking you to do. We're reasonable. We want a clean street. We want clean properties just like you. But this is a tough economy, sir. It's a tough economy. We're just asking for a little help.
I appreciate.
Can I just
Go ahead.
raise something? The problem with it is that there's no way to draw a line as to when it starts and ends. Like next weekend, there could be a thunderstorm in a particular neighborhood, some trees come down in somebody's yard. Do we have to do that then? And
No,
then 2 weeks
that's the
later-
insurance. That's
No,
insurance.
it's not insurance.
If
It's
it
not
damages
insurance.
a house, it.
No, I'm not
But
saying
what
it damages the house. What
happens if it
just-
doesn't?
Branches just fall off. Insurance doesn't pay for that.
But you can't pick and choose. And that's the hard part about this. I mean, you shrug and you say, and it's, well, a thunderstorm just 2 weeks ago knocked down a branch in my yard, but it's now cut up and gone, right? And I pay to have that done for my, in fact, I don't even have the town pick up my leaves. I just have it done because it's they never get to it by the time
And
that.
we cannot all afford to have it done, sir.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I don't pretend in any way that I'm not fortunate to be able to have that done. But at some point you have to draw the line and say, if a thunderstorm were to knock down a branch in your yard tomorrow and you're unable to pick it up, should the town go out and pick that up?
If I can chop it up, I will take it away myself. That's not a problem. All I'm asking you is simply this. Do you see any possibility that you could at least consider what I'm proposing and just maybe decide what might be an appropriate parameter for what I'm proposing? Only so that we can clean up the street.
I'm not sure
That's
what
all.
parameters that would be.
I think I laid it out for you. If it's-
I don't think so.
If it's if it's an extremely large branch, but not an entire tree, that's not easy for someone to cut up. Could you just look at
But
that
to
and see if there's any way we
but to
can accommodate?
every individual, it's good, the differences are going to be, the senior that lives next door is going to consider a branch maybe smaller than the one that's in your yard as something that they cannot get rid of.
So maybe somebody's level of ability, including age,
So,
disabilities.
so
might
how
be
is the,
taken
how
into
is the town going to judge that?
I guess it's a matter of the citizen taking it upon themselves to call up the town and you make a determination, or not you having to go make the determination yourself. People call up. I'm just only proposing a possible solution.
We don't have.
Or
enough
I think at
staff
the
to
very
do
least,
that.
how about this? Can you waive fining people then if we don't get this off on a timely basis? Because we now have to figure this out for ourselves.
The letters that go out telling individuals that they have to remove it, the town has a very, very, in my opinion, fair effort to tell people that they have to move the branches, they have to get out of the roadway for a lot of reasons, safety being one of them, okay? That is an effort to say that you have been notified that you have to go before. But the court that sits right here, the judges that sit right in this seat here, always provide the residents with the ability to rectify those situations.
Well, I don't think I'm getting any spirit of compromise. I know if I had fronted the cost for someone to do a private fundraiser, I'll put it this way. I know this is not confabulating two different things. If I'm willing to put money up to pay for police to cover a private fundraiser on a private estate, and I'm willing to do that for someone who stiffed us 2 years ago, that's a pretty liberal use of funds. We're coming here as ordinary taxpayers.
It's a requirement of public.
Sorry, hang on.
It's a requirement of public
But
safety.
hang on, that may be the case, but still.
Well,
you could also-
you're conflating the two. And I think I've been very reasonable in.
And if I was an ordinary citizen and told you I was going to have a gathering like that on my property, I need police protection, would you say, well, no, that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a security issue. You can't do it? Well, so I thought this was a democracy. He's that much above us that we're going to pay for that. Well, all right. I'm not going to split hairs. I just was hoping that maybe you could meet us a little bit here and understand the problem that we have. Some of us have large
I
branches,
do
but I'm not
I've
getting the
sat-
feeling for that.
I have sat on this dais for 7 years now. And there have been incidents and special weather events that have occurred in the Lincroft section. They've occurred in the Oak Hill section. This is not, it's not unique where this has never occurred before. And we're doing something special. This happens more often than we'd like it to occur. We sat not that many years ago for 12 days out of power after a storm came through in August of 2020. I fully understand where people were out of power for a long time and branches were down, but the manpower that's involved, we don't have that manpower, because every day that you are now taking people off the fields or the roads to pick up brush is a day that fields and roads are not being taken care of. And so there is a loss of services that's occurring on one side. Or you have the other option of paying a private hauler who's going to charge you an arm and a leg to get this
Correct.
done
That's
as a
the whole point.
special pickup.
Or pay a fine if we can't get it out in front of the property. That's the whole point. All right, I'm not going to waste your time anymore. I said what I had to say. I'm sorry that you can't consider a compromise, but that's what it is. I understand we're having a tax increase coming too next year. And at the same time, you're not going to do bulk pickup anymore. Those are just some things
I'm
that.
sorry?
Wait, You're not, there's a rumor going around town, you're not doing bulk pickup anymore.
Incorrect.
Okay, well, I'm
We're
glad
in
to
the
hear
mid,
that.
we're in the middle of a trash contract.
I am glad to hear that, sir.
We're
Thank you
not-
very
we're-
much.
The trash contract is still ongoing.
My field is not yours. My field is psychology. The interesting psychological thing is perception. And people have a perception of their town and what it does for them and doesn't. And it's interesting to me how many homes, when that occurred, debris was neatly piled in front of their homes with an expectation that the town was going to take care of it. Because in the past it has. Whatever funding took place, whatever machinations it took to get that done, that was not something the average person really is up on. But that's why you see where you saw debris was neatly piled in front of homes, because it was the expectation. The expectation came from prior experience with you guys picking it up. You can't do it, you can't do it. But I'm just letting you know that that's the sentiment where we live, and probably other places too. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me 1 second, sir, just 1 second. So, just so you, I read your letters, I saw your Facebook post, somebody delivered one to my house. I live in Leonardo, just so you're aware. There's 3 people that live in Belford and Leonardo on this dais. We do care about the residents in a major way, but sorry, Don. We do care about what you're saying. It can't be done all the time. It's just not possible. It's not possible. I had the same damage many times. Trees come down, got to clean them up. It's just what we have to do. We have people coming in, just like the mayor said, many times in Lincroft, they seem to get hit the worst, that there's trees down, and we just can't do it all the time. It's not possible.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Just state your name and address for the
Cheryl
record.
Genovese. I live at same address, 123 Elmwood Avenue. I have a couple of things to say about this. First of all, I cart my stuff. Whenever things come down, leaves, branches, because we are the kind of people that have pride, like he said, in our neighborhood. So whatever I can do personally, I'm there sweeping the streets. I have a couple of questions about this. First of all, we pay very high taxes. You guys hardly ever come around and clean our streets with the street sweeper, and yet we continue to pay high taxes. You collect our brush, what, twice a year? Maybe once a year now?
Brushes once and leaves are once.
And that's not enough, though, for the money that we pay in taxes. You have a lot of people living in Middletown, and you should be getting a lot of tax money. You should be able to hire manpower to take care
How
of.
much of your?
Can I just finish, sir? Just let me finish. Thank you. I appreciate it. To take care of these issues. It feels like Middletown doesn't have pride in their infrastructure the way the residents do. There's parks all over this town that are not, and that's another issue, that are not being taken care of the way they should. Now, with our tax money that we are spending, I don't see any reason why you can't send a truck down to pick up this brush. And Atlantic Highlands did. Atlantic Highlands didn't care if it was a state of emergency or not. They have a lot less residents, probably a lot less tax money. They were out there picking up the brush. So I went around, like you saw, I went around with the flyers. There were many elderly people that had to put their stuff in the street, expecting, like my husband said, the town to pick it up, because it was out of our control what happened. And yes, in the past, the town has picked up debris from unexpected storms. There was an 81-year-old woman who her whole street was filled with debris, and she goes, I thought you guys were coming. That was the expectation. So that's all I wanted to say. I think it should be picked up. I don't know what my husband means about coming and examining it, but I think the town needs to take more pride in its infrastructure. And when things like storms come up, that's where our tax money is going for. That's all I have to say.
Your tax bill is not for when storms come up. That's not the point of your tax bill. Your tax bill is 23% of your tax bill comes to the township. So think about that. Take your property tax bill and take 23% of that, and that is how much comes to the township. The rest goes to other entities. Okay? All right? So the magical notion that the false nomer that people have about their tax bill is because the town is legally required to collect it, is that we get 100% of it. But that is not the case. 65% of it goes to the school district, 10% of it goes to the county, so on and so forth. Your library, open space tax, so on and so forth. So 23% of it.
Right.
The large majority of it, almost half of your tax bill, just goes to public safety. Police, your all volunteer fire department,
Right.
okay? EMS, OEM. That's where nearly half of your tax bill goes. So the notion that that's what your taxes pay for, when we, again, if you had a rainstorm and a branch fell in your yard, the town does not pick up
I
your
don't
branch.
expect the town to pick it up, but I expect the town, when we have a major storm and there's huge branches that I can't physically cut up or fit into my car, I do expect some service. I'm sorry. This is a big town. Other towns pick up their debris so much more often than you guys do. And even if it's only 23% that comes to you, I don't think it's going to cost a fortune to get a couple of trucks down and bring it to the recycling center. And that's really all, sir, we're asking for. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, sir. You got it. Just your name and address for the record.
Mayor, committee. My father built a house.
Just
on,
your name and address, sir.
Barry O'Neill, 24 Burlington Avenue. My father built a house back in 1958. And we always had a lot of trees and would put them out on the street to come by with a big truck or a chipper and that. A lot of the branches that I put in the street from my yard was also from what was in the street. So I moved them so the vehicles come by. The police, the ambulance, the fire, clear the road. Now I think that you're telling me to put the branches back in my yard. I wouldn't mind doing that, but I'm a disabled war veteran. I'm 77 years old. If I have a heart attack, moving the trees that fell in that street, your street, putting them back in my house, when my wife had the opportunity to sue you guys?
I'm not,
Well,
a lawyer.
it's-
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. that.
No, I understand this, man. I'm kind of doing that sarcastically.
I understand.
But all the time, sir, that I've been living there, we never once had a problem. Now, if you sent out a letter saying, do not put your debris on the street from my house, okay, I would find a tree surgeon or something like that, or saw it up in small pieces, put it in my little Volkswagen, that thing. I don't have a Volkswagen. So then it comes up, the rumor is that if we don't do it, we're liable for a fine. How much time do we have to do it? And apparently, as this nice lady said, because I know people work for the road department, you guys are just like leaving it there. Ha.
What do you mean?
Well,
what is
I
public
see
work?
outside of my brush that a lot of it, sir, I did put it out there. A lot of it was in the street. I put it to the side, added wine to it. But I still go around town, and there's still a lot of people that brush still in the street. Maybe they're still waiting and don't know that it shouldn't be there. Now, I never received a letter. Actually, I was outside working. This nice lady gave me this letter. And I said, you know, being a disabled combat veteran, I've served my country, served my town, paid taxes, been here since 1958. But I have the right to come here and speak my voice as far as, to me, this is something new all my life. All the time you yourself, the previous mayor, everybody else, we clean it up. That's about all I gotta say, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your service to the country.
Thank you, sir.
Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Mark? Yeah, you want to?
Mark Soporowski, 38 Powell Avenue.
Yeah.
Just to touch on what they said, I wasn't going to say anything, but all up and down my street, Chestnut Street, there is debris out from all the neighbors. I don't personally have it out there, but I'm the lowest point on the street. So when we get rain, that debris comes down and clogs the sewer in front of my yard. So then I'm responsible for cleaning that. The park, Hillside Park, hasn't been mowed since June. Okay, you can drive by there and see it. It's like that every summer. So they're obviously not mowing the park. They probably could take a couple guys to go in the isolated area. Navesink got hit pretty hard. Leonardo got hit pretty hard. We lost power for 14, 18 hours or something like that. It was a pretty severe storm in that isolated area. If they're not cutting the grass in the parks, taking 4 guys off the road for a day, it would probably take 1 day to complete it. A dump truck, something to scoop it up, and 4 guys, 2 guys to direct traffic and 2 guys to scoop it up. Get it done in a day. All the residents are happy. If I went there and the park was maintained, I'd say, you know what, these guys are busting their butts doing this. It's not happening. I'm personally don't have any debris out there, but go up and down my street. If you haven't seen it in Leonardo, go down Powell. Go down tomorrow morning, you can see it, because everybody's got it out there. And when it rains, it comes to the storm sewer in front of my house that you're familiar with. And then I clean it up because I don't want the neighbor across the street to flood. So then it becomes my responsibility because somebody else did it. Just consider what it would take, the manpower, ask Ted, ask Public Works. Is there a way that we can get 4 guys to take care of this when something like this happens? Especially when you go down all these streets and there's piles everywhere. It's not like it's one person putting it out. And coincidentally, after they picked up the brush last time, there was a neighbor that put stuff out the day after they put it out, put a whole pile of stuff out right in the street. And they do this every year. And then they continue to add to it all year. When they cut their grass, they add to that pile all summer. So I called up and I said, can we nip this in the bud? Because this happens every single year on Brook Avenue. It's still there. And I called, when's brush pickup? May? So that wasn't enforced either. Thank you.
Are you talking about brush pickup, Mark? What do you?
Yeah, they after the brush pickup happened in May or,
Okay.
yeah, the day after the house
So-
on Brook
so-
Avenue put out all their brush.
So when they get a summons,
They haven't, it's still sitting there.
how do you know they haven't gotten a summons?
Well, they haven't moved anything.
That doesn't mean they didn't get a summons.
Yeah. Did they get a summons?
I'll check, but this.
Okay, because I
this is the
called
first
this,
I'm
because
hearing about it.
every year they do it, and then all summer long, they dump their grass clippings there.
They
It's
can
like
get-
their
they get
personal
a-
dump
They get a
spot.
summons to come to court.
Okay,
If they don't remove it, they get a summons and they come to court. There's a judicial process to it.
thank you.
Yes, sir. No. Behind you.
Brian Schindler, 319 Monmouth Avenue, Leonardo. Yeah, I mean, again, so with the debris and the big branches, I've got a whole bunch outside of my house. So if you do drive through, that'll be one of the spots where you do see a lot. It's not mine. You know, I had recently, I mean, doing construction on my house right now. So I had the big trees removed, everything cut down probably a month or so before the storm hit. And I had a handful of larger branches, decent size, come down to my yard, brought them out. If I had to, I found out I had to take those to Canes Lane, I would. I can do it, to pop them in the trailer, take it right down. We lost power for what, 24 hours plus, I think, for my residents. Finally get it back. I had to go stay at my mom's, make sure, take care of the family and everything. Come back now, I've got a whole ton of debris outside on Breven Avenue. And it's right in between the gates that I use to get in and out, to use my landscaping service. The guys are doing construction, they had to move it so they could fit the machines through. And it's not mine, and I know those summonses are coming. But, whose responsibility is it? Is it really mine now? Because my neighbors.
Where did yours come from?
It's my what?
The branches that are now outside your house?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Somebody just dumped them
Neighbors,
there.
it was either neighbors or JCP&L, maybe. I mean, there was a gigantic tree down on Burlington, where the brand new giant house is being built, Burlington and Roop.
Yep.
Big old tree came down there, and I saw there was a company that came in and took that tree away and did all the work there. I'm guessing, the private company they hired. I don't know, but in my case, there's a lot of lumber out there. A lot of it's fairly big, and it's not mine. So, it's right in line with my property. So if they're going to come to anybody's house and put a summons up, it's going to be me. So what do I
But
do
those trees,
in that case?
But Tone, those trees are, when a private like JCP&L comes out and they're the ones removing the tree for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Normally, those are noted so that
Well-
the private hauler has to come back and collect
Yeah,
that.
or sometimes our crews work in conjunction with JCP&L. They'll
To
move
remove?
the JCP&L will get them out of the wires and then we take them away. So things that are in the street, comes down in the street, we take away.
Right.
But what
'Cause
happens
it's-
is after a couple of days, it's hard to tell which is which.
Yeah.
People drag stuff out from their yard. So some of it might be from the street, some of it might be from a backyard. and it's
Yeah,
hard to tell.
I know 85, 90% of it's not mine.
Yeah.
And I would have taken away whatever was mine. It was easy enough for me to, haul and load away. And I've called here 3 times this week and haven't gotten a call back. Called and left 2 voicemails,
What was your address again?
319 Monmouth Avenue.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, if there's any compromise or anything that can be done. And I mean, I'm honestly
Yeah, if
paying a
JCP&L
bunch of
took-
money already for permits and stuff like that.
Well,
So,
if JCP&L took down that tree for whatever reason they did,
Yeah.
that's on them.
and
That's
it's
bad.
far,
But-
because like I said, the big trees I had in my yard were already down and gone. So I don't know where this stuff came from. All I know is it showed up and it's, I mean, it's a sore, man. It's an eyesore.
Yeah,
And it's terrible. So,
well, Tony can look up that note.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other member of the public?
I have another question.
Hold on one sec. Hold on one second. Hold on. I'm gonna wait to see if anybody that hasn't spoken already would like to speak first, okay? Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Okay. I'm gonna let, you had your hand up, so I'm gonna let you come back up for a quick second. And then Susan, I'm gonna come back to you, okay? Want to give everybody the ability to speak first. Just state your name and address for the record.
James Genovese, 123 Elmwood Avenue, Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey,
Mhm.
Leonardo section. Fortunately, my parents came from Brooklyn, so I can speak fast. Maybe this might sweeten the deal. One of my neighbors proposed that you get 4 guys in a truck to pick it up. I would volunteer. I would volunteer to do that. I don't know if you understand what's going on here from our point of view. This is about a community
Sorry, I hit.
coming, I know, I'm gonna be real
I
quick.
had a tree hit my house and I was sitting in town hall.
I know, but I just wanted
fully
to, I know, but
fully
right
understand.
now, the position you're in, though, is leadership. We are the residents. Understand that. I respect that. This is about a community coming together, asking you to work with us. I would volunteer to go in a truck. You could do a waiver of liability if you want, and I'd help pick it up. But I want you to see the value in what's going on here. Your residents are coming together, pushing back to you about a problem. And not only asking for help, we're not just saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. We're saying we'll work with you. And I mean that. I'll volunteer.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. Susan, come on down. Oh.
Yes.
All right, Susan, come on down.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Does that have to do with that?
It does.
We'll go, you go.
So, Tony Varelli, I'm at 152 Chapel Hill Road, Red Bank Mailing, Middletown Township. So I'm listening to my neighbors talk about this, and they are my neighbors. And my wife and I, we recently had some struggles. We had a house fire. We had some problems. First of all, I can tell you that if you make a complaint with code enforcement, they will come. So being on the receiving end of that. What I'm saying is that Middletown has a group, has a Facebook group, where if you need help or if you need something, or if you have a question, if you post on that Facebook group, people will show up to your house. We had the occasion to do this on more than one time. So if you're willing to volunteer, watch that Facebook group and you'll see people calling for help, and you can do that. So alternatively, I understand what you're saying about the logistics of a storm over a township as big as Middletown, trying to get crews out to pick up
large debris, we're talking about, how many streets does Middletown have? Thousands?
375 miles worth of roadway.
375 miles worth of roadway to be maintained by 4 guys during a storm. We live on the coast. That's not going to happen. That logistics is insanity. So a little reason to that.
23,000 houses.
23,000 houses, 33,000 residents in that neighborhood.
68,000.
68. Where was I when that happened? So what I'm saying
Only more
is,
than the last sentence.
what I'm saying is, this is not 4 guys in a truck. We're talking about 4 guys in a truck every day of the week, 365 days a year, because we get hit with storms 30, 40 times a year. And so I understand this is not a small problem we're talking about, but as neighbors, we can help each other. So just a proposal, is there something in the township that could coordinate volunteers that we're talking about? So that if your neighbors need help,
We have a volunteer coordinator.
there you go. So is that possible to discuss with the volunteer coordinator and say, when there's this kind of thing happening, can somebody be the central point to say, we need volunteers here? And maybe that's the solution. If we're willing to help each other as neighbors, we may not be looking for a service from the township. It's something we can do ourselves to help our own neighbors, and maybe the township can help us coordinate that.
I think
So-
that's certainly possible.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you for your time.
Susan, come on down.
I'd like to make a comment, hearing all of this.
Just come up to the mic and state your name and
Oh,
address for the.
turn on microphone.
Don't hit it.
Susan DiNacenzo, 398 Maple Drive, Belford, New Jersey. I'm hearing concerns of residents, and I'm just wondering, you're expanding the community and you're going to make it bigger and broader and more citizens and more residents and more action, but yet you can't do that. Think about what you're getting yourselves into down the road for the future of America. You're all going to be retired. If you only have 4 guys
I
on
don't
a
know,
truck
I don't,
to help.
I don't know where 4 guys came from. I think Mark might have said it.
Right, so I
but
heard that, that's what I used.
I don't know where this 4 guys.
What
thing-
are you going, I'm,
Think about being retired.
some of you have to be retired. Altruistically speaking.
Right now, are we retired?
No, it's coming, you know that, but I want to
I
ask you.
wish.
How are you going to handle the size of the bigger town that's planned when good old Middletown is kind of like not being taken care of? How are you going to do that? Is that in the plan, or it's going to be more meetings like this where people are flooded out because the impervious surfaces are overriding the beautiful ecosystem that we have? You're going to send people down there to help senior citizens get out of their houses, or mothers with children, or fathers that have to get their cars from not getting flooded? Are you ready for that?
Are you talking about like a hurricane?
Let's see. Ocean, 2 rivers, and a bay. Yes. We're surrounded by water.
Okay, so
And I'm just saying, will you be able to handle, will this council or the council that comes in after you or after that be able to handle the devastation?
every hurricane that has occurred is exactly the disaster that I'm referring to.
So why
referring-
would you endanger a community? Because water's gonna go where it's gonna go. You're going to create impervious surfaces more. Now, I'm talking strictly over, I'm listening to tree problems here. Impervious surfaces, the water's gonna find a way to go. to get-
Where are we creating impervious surfaces?
Well, you have a proposed project of 400.
Impervious.
It's all
already.
impervious already. It's all impervious already.
Yes, already.
It's 100% being built on
That's
impervious.
the parking garage you're talking about.
No, the whole
The
thing,
whole project.
the whole project's happening on the
Redevelopment
parking
does
lot.
not add to any new or existing green space. Take that away. It is.
So then you have the structures, and then you have openings between the structures, right? So then the water comes in and it pushes through a more narrow way.
I'm not a hydraulic expert.
Well, I
pretend to
think,
be.
you know what, a lot
There-
of people here and the county need to brush up on, number 1, common sense.
Are
And
you,
number,
but just to be clear, are you testifying as a hydraulic expert?
I am not tested now.
I'm just making, I just want to be clear to anybody that's listening.
Stuff I learned in 2nd grade. Have a good night. I'm
Okay.
just saying, you can't handle what you have now. How the heck are you gonna handle 400 more apartments now?
You're
by the-
talking about trees. You're talking about.
Yeah, and water and trees go together. Water will find a way to go. Have you ever sat there and watched it?
Either
where it
come back
goes?
up to the microphone if you're
I
gonna
think
keep speaking.
you would need to really familiarize yourself of what is happening, not just the dollar signs. I think you're all blinded by the freaking dollar signs.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I don't.
Oh,
You don't know
come
what you're
on.
Talking about. You don't know where.
I love when,
You're
I
being-
love
being
when you say
ridiculous.
that. That's the go-to. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, Tom.
All right. Okay, all right, hold on. Okay, come on up. Rye, do you want to go?
Just, ma'am, before you say that, Susan, I just want to, Susan, I want to make a comment. As a former fire chief of this town, I have operated in several coastal storms, and we have never, ever let our town down, not once. No, that's Ryan.
His name's Ryan. Okay,
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say one thing.
Name and-
We're,
name and-
oh,
name and-
Cheryl Genesese, 123 Elmwood Avenue. We're not here to fight you guys. I
No,
think
you're
we're all here because we love Middletown and we have pride in Middletown and we want our town to look the best that it can look. And so we don't want you to take this as an assault against any of you, but we do have concerns about the way it's kept. I'm not going to go into the trees, you know all about it now, but we're here. I mean, I know I'm specifically here because I believe in the township that we live in and we have pride in this town and we want it to show in the way it physically looks. And that was basically all I wanted to say.
None of us think that you're assaulting us. It's a question that comes.
I mean, we're not here to fight you. We're
course.
here for an issue.
You're here to voice your concern, which is absolutely.
Right, but we're hoping that you feel the same way about the town that you serve, is that you want it to look the best that it can look. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other Richie?
Richard Isaacson, 812 Tilton Place. These people had a serious storm down there. It wasn't just a little blow. I was down there the day after. There was trees down all over the place, all kinds of brush. We can't send a few trucks down there. It's only a small place. It's not a big place. Don't make sense. A lot of them people can't handle them big trees. I think we should help them out. As far as that water goes, I got a house on 640 Main Street, Belford. 2 foot of water on the northeaster, bad one. You know what it is in a hurricane? 4 foot. More house you put down, how you gonna get them people out of there? Then it floods down Main Street too, down where the park is. You know why? Because the politicians won't dig the ditches out. I had Harry Larson come down there and dig ditch. I told him what to do with it. We didn't have flooding there for a while, but they don't do it no more. We got to start paying attention to what's going on, what we have down there, not what you want to put down there. We don't need no condos down there. We don't need anything down there, to tell you the truth. Next hurricane comes, you think that's going to make any difference down there? When that wall goes by that ferry terminal there, Belford gets it bad. When Sandy was down there, everything was fine as long as the wall was flat calm. As soon as that wall let go, holy hell, right up Main Street. You people don't realize what's going on down there. You don't go down there to see it. You don't want to see it. All you want to do is come down with more building, more building, more building. Thank you.
Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Okay, seeing no other member of the public stepping forward. Move to close the public portion and adjourn.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeewoman Kratz.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.